Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today we are going to be breaking down characters. And I'm going to be doing this over the next couple of weeks until everybody kind of gets their game, and then we could start our campaign. But I want to take some of my favorite characters and break them down for you. And just kind of show you, for those of you that don't have the game yet, just kind of show their cards as themselves, and then as a companion, what you can do with these fantastic characters, which have so much imagination. I want to do these to just kind of keep this wonderful, beautiful game alive on this channel until we feel that everybody's caught up enough. And then what we're going to do is we're really going to do it from front to back on the channel. I think me and the Jarl are going to do it live, and we're really looking forward to it. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at our very first character, which is my all-time favorite, and that is the Warbear. Okay, Ursus. And she comes with a fantastic card. Let's go down to the table. We'll take a look at the story, some of the starting cards that you're going to start with, and just kind of go over it a little bit. Okay, my favorite character is obviously the Warbear, and doing this one is a lot of fun for me. As always with every character, you're going to start off with 6 hit points. Okay, and just to kind of break down the card for you, your defense value is going to be here, and your animus, which is it basically controls your actions, is always going to be here. You can have with this particular character a max of 9, so there's ways to get extra in here, and you're going to regenerate 6 every time. So you want to be smart in how you use your actions. Now your actions are all driven by these cards, okay, and what they're going to do is they're going to have certain costs depending on what you do. Your defense value is off of the 2 starting things that you are going to start with. First of all, you are going to start with a pig iron coat, which is going to give you a defense value of 3, which is really good, because if somebody hits you for 6, you're going to take that 3 and divide it into it, okay, and you're going to come up with, you're going to take 2 hits. Now when you only have 6 health, that isn't a lot, but there are other ways to generate more defense, but starting with a base of 3 really helps you. Also, when you are attacking, you start with a felling axe, which is going to give you 1 yellow cube. Now what that does is when you are drawing cards or doing dice, you are going to be able to draw a yellow card and then how many white cards you feel like doing. So for instance, these only have 1 hit value, okay? So you would draw this card and say, well, you know something, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to pull 2 of these as well. You're going to turn them over. Whenever you have 2 misses, well, guess what? That's not going to be good. So it's going to be 1, oh, which is real good, and 2, which brings us to 4. But notice that this particular card here has a value around it, okay? That means it's a critical. Now, one of the abilities of this axe is when you critical during an attack that hits, draw 2 additional cards rather than 1. So you would draw 2 more white cards instead of drawing 1. If I drew 1 here, well, wow, you would add that, which would be 5. And then we would draw another one, which is a blank, okay? The blanks don't affect, on criticals, don't affect your blank count. Remember, 2 blanks is considered a miss if you were just drawing your regular cards. That was more than enough to kill our little frat friend, and see you later, pal. Thanks for coming by. So that's basically what that means. Now, if these guys were to hit back, it'd be a little bit of a different situation, because they would be hitting and we would be going off this defense value. So if they hit him for 1, 3 goes into 1 how many times? 0, okay, which is fine. So now that you have a basic idea of what you get as a basic starting thing, your normally we would put a dice here, and then we would have a yellow cube here. As you attribute more things, you're going to be able to do more with it. Okay. There are different tokens that you're going to get through the game, okay, that are going to change some things. Apex Predator, you gain you can change 3 cards, you can raise them up. That's what that little symbol is there. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it too much, but any symbol that you have a dice with 3 arrows up, that means that you can change what you use, because the higher you go, it goes white, yellow, red, black. So say you're going to pull 3 white cards. With the 3 arrows, you can change those 3 white cards to 3 yellows. Okay, so that'd be 1 move, 1 step up, 1 step up, 1 step up. Or you can keep the 2 white cards and move up from 1 white card to a yellow, red, and then black, because that's 3 steps. So you can draw a black card, which has higher numbers and higher hit values, as well as more criticals. So his special ability is you can gain that token, and that token can be used on your next attack. That's really, really important, because if you need to make a big attack, say you're fighting the big rat, and you need to hit it big time to maybe take out the front arc, you're going to want to do as much damage as humanly possible. Remember, rats and the big rat have a defense value of 2. So anything that you accumulate into it will get divided. So if you are able to accumulate 12 points, well, that's going to be 6 points, which is going to hit the rat for 6 and take one of the dies off and destroy that particular frontal arc. So his special ability is really, really great, because at the start of the encounter, you gain that, and you can use it and keep it in your back pocket until you really need it. It really makes him really powerful. Now, the cards. Now, as we said, you have your starting abilities, but then you're going to have these cards, and you're going to be playing these cards, and that is what it's going to cost you your animus. Now, for instance, this one here, okay, this is a 0, which would go into the 0 area, but it's going to cost you depending on what you want to do. An attack symbol is always a sword swinging. So just to use this to attack would cost you 3 animus. Now, you usually you start. Remember, you regen only 6, so you want to be smart in what you regen and how you use things. 1, battle flow 1 card. So you can take a card, and what battle flow means is that if I played this card for 3, it would go in the 0 spot. Now, as you can see, there's 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. Okay, putting that card there would help me. Now, if I had another card that would battle flow, this card would come up to my hand. But if I wanted to, and I played this card, Feral Roar, up to 2 friendly characters within range may move up to 2 and gain. They're going to gain that ability token. This is a really great card. Okay, or you can use the bottom and use it as a as an attack with +1 damage. So you're going to do whatever you do on your cards and add 1 damage to it, but make sure you don't miss. The other symbol here is the 2 symbol. You can play a card that you have in your hand, okay, to increase your defense. So I can go from 3 and add this in and make this up to a 5, okay, which is important, because if you get hit for a lot of damage, say you get hit for 10 damage, well, 5 goes into 10, you're only taking 2 damage. So you're minimizing the damage, where 3, you would be 3 hits. And remember, you've only got 6 life, so you want to be very smart. Once you play the card, it's going to have a value, like I said, and this would go right here, okay? And this is where playing Feral Blow is really kind of good here for a cost of only 1, because you could battle flow 1 card. And when you battle flow 1 card, at the beginning of your refresh stage, anything in the 0 area comes back to your hand. So this card comes back to your hand no matter what you use of it. Now, this one's really good because refresh your might deck, which is really, really critical. All right, refreshing it means shuffling all the cards back in and getting ready. You must take this card each encounter. Yes, you have to take this one. This is a card that stays in your hand and has to stay in here, and we'll explain more of that as we go. So for 1 cost, that's good. The other one, the other one that goes into the 1 slot, but is expensive at 4 animus, is Swipe. It's an area effect. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you what this does. This attack targets up to 3 adjacent hexes in your front arc. Add 1 damage for each enemy hit. Attack once and apply to all targets. Okay? So for instance, our front arc here, as you can see, and it really shows you here, you're going to have your battle bear here, and these are in the front arc. Not here, not here. Okay, if somebody was here, no, it has to be in these 3 spaces in front. So with 1 swing, even though it costs 4, you might be able to take out 4 enemies, which is really, really, 2 enemies, which is really crucial. And sometimes you're surrounded by a lot of enemies and you might have another rat there. This is a really good card to play, but the cost is 4. But the good thing about it, like we said before, as we move this away, this one just goes into your 1 slot. So if you were able to have that other card where you might be able to, okay, I want to play this, and put it here. Remember, this is a very important card for you. If you don't have anything that you can attack with, well, if you have 3 animus, you'll get an attack. If you're holding this in your hand and you want to get some cards back in your hand next turn, it only costs you 1 animus to possibly get them over to battle flow. Okay, this is a very key card. This is your 0 card, and anytime you play it, it comes here, which means it comes back into your hand pretty quickly. These other 2 are going to be into your 1 slot, okay? Now, let's take a look at the 2 slot, toss, okay? This is when you play this, even though it has a big cost of 4, it's going to come up here. But it also has a big defense value of 3. Now remember, again, you're starting with your pig coat iron, 3 and 3 is 6. You take 12 damage. Now you can divide that in there. Or even if you take 6 damage and you only can afford to take 1 hit, well, guess what? You're going to make sure that you have 6 defense to divide into that 6, okay? Because that is going to really help you and prevent more and more damage. But let's talk even farther about this. This is an attack card. If target is normal sized, meaning our friends here, okay? Remember, the rat is a large character. And loses any life, throw them to a hex within range of 3 of you. So that means if you were able to hit and do some damage to this particular enemy here, okay, and let's see if I want to make sure that we can see this here. Okay, there we go. You're going to be able to take and throw this, okay, up to 3, even if they're dead. If they land into a thing here, it's going to be knocked back 1. You're going to see it knocked back a lot. It's going to knock them back and they're going to take 1 damage. Well, they can only take 1 damage, and that's going to kill them. Their defense value does not help them when they are hit by something that is thrown at them. So as long as they are within 3, okay, you can throw that, hit that rat, and you're going to do even more damage. Very, very powerful, but it's going to go into the 2 slot, and you're going to have to get that rotated back to your hand. Not such an easy thing. Iron Hide. This is really, really critical. You're going to gain a shield. Okay? You can play this for 1 to gain an additional shield. Say you have 3 and you're thinking, well, you know, these rats aren't going to hit me that hard, but I don't want to take any damage. Let me go up to 4. I'll play this for 1, and it'll go into the 2 slot. You're not going to be able to use it. The nice thing about it, you can use the bottom part of it for an additional move of 2, but also you can use it for 3 as a defense value. High defense is really key in here. You got to know when to use it. All right, let's talk about our 3rd slot here. Now, this is the one that takes the longest to come through, because each time we do a battle flow, it is going to go 1. Okay? And getting these back into your hand is important, so you got to be smart in when you use them. This attack costs 2, okay? You don't have anything else to use, and you know, you used up some of your smaller cards, but you do have animus left. It's going to cost you 2 just to take an attack. But Bite does this. After an adjacent enemy draws damage, ignore one of the enemy's might cards of your choice. So if they got a big might card, you can play this. It's not going to cost you any animus, but it's going to prevent you from taking big damage, because some of those cards can do a lot of damage. This one, the final card of your starting cards, okay, after a stage card is drawn or before an enemy moves, force one enemy within range of 6 to focus on you so you can pull the enemy. Okay, this also serves as a double, a very card that you really want to use smartly. First of all, it's not going to cost you anything to get it out. Big number here for the defense value of 4. Again, using it as an attack value, it's going to cost you 2 for attack. But this, you are going to draw the enemy towards you in case you want to tank. And that's what the bear can really do very, very well if you are using your armor cards properly and everything, is use them. Now, as you go through the game, you are going to be adding more and more of these cards and taking cards out. So you're going to be kind of deck building in a way. This card here, which starts in the 1 slot, is a knockback 3. Okay, really you attack, and then when you hit, you knock back your opponent 3. Could be really, really critical. On a larger character, it'll only do half, rounded up, so it'll knock it back 2, I believe. But big cost at 4. Okay, another one with a big cost of 3 is Rend. If you are attacking the enemy's flank and they lose any health, they gain a bleed out token. Then if the target has 2 or more bleed out, remove 1, and then they lose 1 health. So this is going to help bleed out that area if you hit them in the flank. Cost 3, smart, it can help you in big situations. Now going to the 2 slot, Topple, unarmed. Okay, you may target an obstacle with this attack. If you do, and your attack totals 6 or more, place a 7 hex area range effect so that any edge of the template is adjacent to the edge of the obstacle. For each hex a character occupies within that area, they lose 1 health. Afterwards, remove the obstacle and the template from the board. So this can really, if there are multiple enemies, really do some serious damage, but you can also hurt your friends as well. And that is in the 2 slot that you can add and pull something out. The thing about this is, and talking about the cards, you have to have 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s every single battle you go into. At the number 2 slot for 4 cost is Warpath. Hit, charge through 4. So that means you can move up to 4 in a charge, empower 2, attack once, and apply to all targets. So you are going to do 2 times the amount, and this is really key. Also has that, as you can see, keeping that high defense value if you want to use this defense-wise. Now another number 2 card, because you can add another 2 card, and I really like this one a lot, Primal Rage. Only one of these attacks can trigger the determination rule. That means you can do 2 attacks with this 1 card. Big cost at 4, big defense. You want to be able to use it at 3, but it is going to go into your 2 slot, and getting it back around, you want to be smart. So really, really, you're going to get 2 attacks plus the determination rule. Okay, now we go up to our 3rd slot in the extra cards that you can swap out during the entire campaign. Great Feat, knockback 2. You may redraw all blanks once. That is a huge card, but the cost is ridiculous. Okay, 5, you're going to get your attack, and that's about it, folks. Okay, and remember, you're using Animus to move. You want to be very smart. If you've got it to the point where you're only going to be able to move 1 and then play this card. So you've got to make sure that you are in an area that you are going to be able to hit this character or minions or whatever, and really you are really intent on doing some damage. Really important card to get rotated in, and goes into our 3 slot. The other 3 slot doesn't cost you any. Intervention. Before damage is drawn against a friendly character within range of 3, place yourself in the hex of a friendly character. Place them in any empty hex within range of 2. You are attacked. Again, you are tanking big time here. And you can use this card as an attack card, okay, for 2 cost and huge defense value. Really want to be smart with these. Okay, and then our final 3 card, Feeding Frenzy. You may only play this ability if you have not attacked yet this phase. Okay, so it gives you an attack. If the target loses any health, you gain 1 health, and you may not take any more turns this phase. You may still use interrupts. All right, that's huge. You may gain 1 health back. That's huge. Especially when you only have 6 health and you may be low. This is only costs you 3, but if you just use this as an attack card, you get +2 damage. Big time card. Know when to use this, okay? This is when you are in that critical stage and you got to use damage. And that's what this bear does as a character, is a big time tank, big time damage, can take big time damage and absorb it, and very balanced and really fantastic. Now, let's look if you just use this as a companion. Let's go take a look at some of those cards. Okay, so here, a little bit different, okay? You still have 6 HP. You're still going to have your 3 starting defense, but I think you get an additional 1 too as well. I might be wrong on that. No, I think I'm right on that one. Okay, the thing about it, you're going to start with 2 animus, but that's all you need because you're only going to be able to use 1 animus for each one of these, and this really kind of keeps everything kind of simple. So for 1 animus out of your 2, you can move 4. For 1 animus out of your 2, you can attack, okay, and then perform a special ability on the archetype cards. And you're going to have a couple of different archetype cards, okay, to start with as you progress here. Your starting archetype card is, of course, it's going to start, you're going to choose a side here, and you have Iron Hide. If the target loses any HP, you gain a shield. Big, huge. Okay, Batter. If you have moved 2 or less this round, take a swing, +2 damage, knock back 3. Max 1 use of each special ability per round. So you can only pick 1 of these per round. Okay, all right, on this side, all friendly characters within range 3 may move 2 or gain. Remember we told you about that die where you can change your attack ability 3 times. And then swipe. Area effect, kind of like our area card that we saw earlier. Anything within that arc is going to take damage. And again, you can only use 1 of these abilities per round. Okay, as you advance and you are going to be changing these cards out, okay, there are going to be different things. You're going to get your toss ability, your bite ability, which we talked about on the other cards. Rend and swipe, again, a chance to keep that within thing. We talked about these. Basically, these mirror your cards that you had that we took a look at. So again, as we move up, Primal Rage, you're going to get your 2 attacks and the Determination rule, which we talked about. This one will have the Bite ability, and then on the other side, Intervention and Feeding Frenzy. If you have not moved this round, well, you're going to get an attack, and then anyone that they lose, you gain 1. So you can see that all your cards are basically here as you use this, and then Toss, Warpath, Intervention, and Great Feat. Now, I think this one's a little, no, this one's, if you have 3 health or less, swing, knock back 2, gain gains 2 redraws on this attack. So you're going to get redraws or re-roll the dice depending if you use dice or not. So the character, this makes it easier to do this Ursa Bear as a character if you really want to just focus on a different type of character. Again, really keeping the fundamentals of this being a tank. A tank that's ready to absorb and dish out a big amount of damage. Okay, good armor, smart armor, and ways to really keep the Warbear in the fight. And a tremendous character. So that concludes our look at Ursa. Next week, we will be taking a look at another character of your choice, and I can't wait to do it for you. So let's head on up top and get my final thoughts. Well, there you have it, the mighty Warbear, one of my favorite all-time characters. I love this character. It is my favorite. It is beefy, stocky, and is there. You would think the Exile would be tougher, but I think this is the overall most balanced, one of the more balanced characters that I really enjoy playing. Plus, I just love the character itself. So, until next week when we do another one, and put in the comments who you want to see next, and we'll make sure that we do it up. We'll see you next week as we will be doing another character. Until then, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.